Hello everyone and welcome to Felix Space Time. In today's video, I have an interview with John Shoffner, the pilot on the Axiom Ax-2 mission. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Thank you so much for coming on here for an interview today. For those who might not know you, can you tell everyone a bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm John Shoffner. I'm the pilot of the upcoming flight to the International Space Station, Axiom Space Ax-2. We leave hopefully sometime this month. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, so I've been a fan of space my entire life.
Wonderful. Thanks for coming on here for an interview. So far, what training have you done for the mission, and what has been your favorite part of training so far?
Oh, well, I've been training. I've been involved with Axiom for 3 years. I started training just about 2 years ago. I was a backup pilot for AX-1. And it's been most of the training, of course, is on ISS systems and systems knowledge on the ISS, as well as Dragon training itself. Um, you know, growing up, we used to pretend we were pilots in space. So this is kind of like the real deal, and that's been pretty special for me to actually do this for real.
Amazing. Another question about your training. You're one of the founders and racers in J2 racing. Do you think being a race car driver will help you in any way while you're in space, like being under pressure, for example?
Yeah, I think so, actually. In fact, that was one of the things that Axiom pointed out when we first had conversations, and they suggested I take on the role as pilot because being a race car driver, you work under extreme conditions. You have to think very quickly. So, yeah, I think that'll help. Many of the things I've done in my life, like driving a race car, have been things that were much like going to space for me. So, yeah, I think preparedness and things like that is very, very helpful.
Amazing. So you mentioned about your training with the ISS systems. Can you tell me a bit more about that, and especially a bit more about the training you did with the Dragon capsule?
Sure, it's been so incredible, Felix. The to have a chance to train at the Johnson Space Center with NASA on the same mock-ups and modules and training facilities that NASA astronauts use. Our training is a little different, but it's pretty much on the same things. But I developed qualifications, operator level qualifications in the internal thermal control systems, the external thermal control systems, the electrical power system, life support, environmental control, as well as a specialist in onboard maintenance, on orbit maintenance. So I'm qualified to fix things on the space station. Doesn't mean they will let me, but it was kind of fun getting those qualifications because that's just fun for me. Learning systems. And that's been a huge part. That took about 2 years to complete all of those. With SpaceX, a fantastic company also, learning to be a pilot of a spacecraft. I mean, that's every kid's dream, right? That's exactly what I dreamed of. So we spent a lot of hours in pressure suits in the Dragon capsule in Hawthorne and in their test facility in Houston at the Johnson Space Center, going through systems, mainly emergencies. And that's what a lot of the training is about for space, is how to deal with off-nominal situations when things come up. There are procedures for everything that you can reference, but you have to be able to go to those procedures and execute those, with fluidity, with confidence. So after 2 years, I can say we have a solid crew, all of us. Our commander, Peggy Whitson, Rayana Barnawi, and Ali Arkarni. We've all been through similar training, and we're all prepared, and we feel really, really happy about AX2.
Amazing. A question kind of away from your training. Will you be bringing any personal items on the flight? Something like a picture or something you'd like flown to space?
Yes, sir. NASA goes to great lengths to give us opportunities to take personal items. They give us a small allotment. We have 1.5 kilograms of personal gear that we can take in a small container. It's about the size of maybe half a shoebox. So I've taken pictures of family and friends, small things I've had since I was, younger, dreaming about space, things to give away, bring back patches and things to give to friends. So, yeah, fortunately, we do have that opportunity. So I've got some small little things tucked in there, and I can't wait to get up there and then bring them back.
Amazing. You were part of, like you mentioned, part of the backup crew for the first Axiom space mission. Do you have to go through all the same training you're doing now for Axiom 1, and have you redone it all? So the training, did you have to train quite a bit for a backup crew?
Yeah, well, for the backup crew, we do all the initial training together, the same. But then we stop about 2 months before the AX-1 flight. If you're backup, you stop your training closer to the end before the primary crew does. That's because one of the rationales is they're not going to switch out crew at the last minute. So if you get within 2 months, then they'll delay the flight or offset the flight, a few weeks or a couple of months. That gives the backup crew a chance to complete training. That way they are very current, that their training is up to date. So yes, they prepare you, they get you all set with the basic systems, the fundamentals, and then they train you, and then you stop. And if there is a problem in the primary crew and it requires a crew replacement, then we step in and we do very, very quick intensive training to bring us up to speed. And then we head to the launch pad.
Wonderful.
Fortunately, that didn't happen.
Yeah, wonderful. I've got a few questions from kind of media on Twitter, that kind of thing. Alexander wants to know, as piloting many flights in your past, which is your most memorable?
I suppose you're speaking about just general aviation flights. I've flown air shows for many, many years, and I've had lots of fun experiences, but they usually come during going to or coming back from an air show when you're working with weather and you want to get home. So I've had some pretty interesting experiences where I probably should not have been there flying, coming and going. But I did have one occasion where I was sitting on a ramp in a big airplane that we were flying, and someone knocked on the door and said, "Can I come in?" This was a big seaplane. And the guy came in and introduced himself. He said, "Hi, my name's Jimmy Buffett." So Jimmy Buffett came on my airplane one day and sat and had a nice chat. So that was pretty memorable.
Cool. Another question from media. John wants to know, what experiments and tasks specific to Axiom's plans away from the International Space Station will you be performing?
That's a great question. A lot of the things that we're doing on AX-2, we're doing a lot of life sciences and things for other researchers, of course, for human life sciences. But we're also doing a lot of work to help Axiom develop technology for their future space platform. As you probably know, that Axiom Space is developing the next level space station that will replace the International Space Station in 6 or 8 years. So, but we're going to update the technology, whether it's in communications or the way that we track inventory, the way that we move about in space internally in the cabin. So Axiom is using this opportunity also to develop technology for the future that will make future space stations and space platforms more efficient, more easy to use for ordinary people. So I like that. We're developing new cutting edge technology for space.
Amazing. A last question for you. What's your plans for the future after the Axiom-2 mission?
Another great question. We're having a lot of fun bringing education to schools. It appears that there's a lot of interest in space in grades 5 through 10, 12. Everyone, when you mention space to someone in school, their eyes light up. I'm sure you're a space fan, Felix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I go to these schools and talk to young students, they are just so excited to learn about space. And what I've learned from that is that once you provide something that is exciting, then everyone wants to listen. And then they also learn. They want to know more. So space and space technologies of the future have a huge, huge a career path. You can be anything and go to space. You don't have to be an astronaut. You can be a technician, a researcher, a scientist. You can learn to grow food. You can be a food scientist, an animal cultural. So you can develop how animals behave in space. Structural engineers. There are so many things that are becoming important as we go to the moon and Mars that we'll have to learn about. but we need people that enjoy those technologies. So the career path is incredible. So after my mission, I'm going to visit as many schools as I can and try to take what I've learned there and bring that down and share that with everyone. So we're going to be filming a lot of things that I do on the space station while I'm there and create classroom examples so that it excites everyone about space again, because it's here and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. Well, that's the actual, we call that the forward view.
Yeah, so this is kind of the thing he's developed. It's like a playable game. People can go on there, they can kind of learn the Dragon systems kind of inside and out, that kind of thing.
Well, that's quite accurate, actually. So you've got, over on the right, you've got the available commands, and on the left, you've got the next thrust vector, the next firing, the next burn. They call the burn tool on the left, top left.
And then
And
here's another picture from it.
Yeah, that's the propulsion page. It comes off of the overview. Shows all the tanks and the valves. He's missing all the valves, of course, but
yeah. So he just wanted me to show you to you to them, show them to you, and kind of see what you thought.
Yeah, well, they're surprisingly, accurate and good fidelity. Yeah, that's interesting. So you can, of course, everything's touchscreen for us, so we can touch any of those elements and get an indication of their status. And usually they'll have symbology on the item anyway, so we can tell at a glance if it's open or closed, on or off, flowing or not flowing. The lines would be bold if there is actually a flow path enabled. So those are all the Dracos in the center, of course, and then the helium, the oxidizer, or the propellant in the others. Very cool.
Amazing. That's all the kind of the questions and things I wanted to show you. Thank you so much for coming on here for an interview. It was an amazing being able to talk to you, and you had some amazing answers to some of my questions.
Yeah, well, it's always nice to talk to a space fan, Felix. I'd love to talk to you anytime. So hopefully we have a shot at getting off here in the next few weeks. We were delayed because of, as you may know, SpaceX Falcon Heavy launch was delayed, so that ate up our window.
Yeah.
And there's a parking problem on the ISS right now. So port allocation, they had to move us around. So they're having a meeting tomorrow, find out if we were going to launch this month or next month or not.
Cool. Thanks again for coming on for an interview. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Wonderful. Nice talking to you, Felix. Thank you.
Thanks, you too. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.